you are your best self when you're traveling. Like I'm just kind of out and I'm living life and I'm exploring and I'm meeting people and I'm seeing things. And it's just, how can you not be living your best life when you're doing that?
Hi, I'm Kim Tolson and I'm the traveling therapist. It's my passion to teach therapists how to navigate online private practices and multiple income streams so they can travel the world. I'm a digital nomad with a virtual insurance-based private therapy practice and a multi-six-figure coaching business. I'm obsessed with entrepreneurship and developing tools that can help therapists live an adventurous lifestyle. In this podcast, I will discuss my journey as a digital nomad. I'll chat with other traveling therapists and help you navigate the complexities of running an online insurance-based practice. I'm so glad to have you with me on this journey. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of The Traveling Therapist. I'm here with Ruthie Kalai. Ruthie actually is a friend of mine. Like, we took Amber Lida's course together, and then we went into our own chat group after that. So we've been friendly for how many years has it been now?
It was 2018. So
yeah.
4 years.
Oh my gosh, yes. So I've gotten to kind of watch her develop her online practice and then become a traveling therapist. So I just really wanted to invite her on to tell you guys about her journey. So Ruthie, what led you from being like your typical therapist to a traveling therapist?
Well, first of all, thanks, Kim, for inviting me. And yeah, I was thinking about this, over the weekend. I was like, wow, we've really come a long way just in our own journeys professionally, just from where we started 4 years ago until where we are now. And the rest of the women in this group, like we've all just gone into so many directions. So it's really cool. But for me, it was kind of organic. I've always loved to travel. Traveling has always been a really big part of my life. It was big in my family growing up. We always traveled. And I started a remote practice because I wanted to find a way to, at the time, my parents were in Florida and I was living in New York, and they had a lot of kind of health issues. And I wanted to find a way to go back and forth to Florida and still be able to work. So that was originally kind of where it started. And then when I realized like, oh, I could go to Florida, take care of my parents for a week, work, like, why can't I go elsewhere?
Yeah.
It just kind of snowballed that way. And I started just saying like, okay, well, someone invited me on a trip, I would say, okay, let me go, but I may have to work. And so it really happened organically.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. I've said it a couple times in this podcast. Like the day I realized I could do both, I was like, oh my God, this changes everything. Yeah, totally. Like it's totally changed now. So, okay, so you're in my traveling therapist Facebook group, and a couple months ago, you started posting about this big trip you were going to take. So I wonder if you would just tell everybody about that, and we can get into the details, but just in general about that trip you took recently.
Yeah. So can I say the name? It was with kind of a digital nomad company.
Yeah.
Oh. Say the name of it. Okay. Sure. So, and I'm not plugging them in any way, shape, or form. So my sister-in-law, whom I'm really close with her, she works remotely. She's got an e-commerce company, and she discovered this company that does these like kind of trips for digital nomads. And it's not a tour or anything. It's just like they pick a city, everyone goes, they set you up with accommodations, they set you up with, there's an amazing co-working space always. And then there's kind of the built-in social aspect of it because there's about 20 people. And, during the day, everyone's working, doing their digital nomad thing. And then there's a Slack channel for us. And so there's always somebody slacking like, hey, I have a couple of hours free. Do you want to go to this museum? And so, or like, hey, who's free for dinner tonight? So she invited me onto this. She's like, I'm going to Portugal. I think you'd love it. She knows I love to travel. She says, do you want to come? And I lately try not to say no to an invitation to travel. And so I said, yes, absolutely. And so it was very cool because it was about 20 of us and we were all in Lisbon. And like I said, during the day, everyone did their work and we had a co-working space. And then it was great because like I would see clients and then in the evening or the early mornings, I would do touristy things. So, and I'm planning to do another trip with them in May.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was great. It was a great experience. A lot of them were a lot younger.
Okay.
So,
I was just wondering that, like, what's the age range? It sounds awesome, but I was curious.
I kind of revisited my early 30s. Again, let's just say that. Yeah, they're mostly in their late 20s, early 30s. So there was a lot of drinking.
Yeah.
Which, me in my 40s just I couldn't keep up, but I tried. So that's how it all started. And so it was like my experiment where I said, well, if I could keep my practice running while in a foreign country for a month, then I can do this anywhere. And it was a total success.
Oh my gosh. So feel free to say the name of the company if you want to.
Yeah. They're called Hacker Paradise.
Hacker
Paradise.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Yeah, it's and there's a couple of different ones that are similar to that. I thought it was great. It was affordable. What was also nice, and I forgot to mention this, is like in addition to the co-working space, they do like 2 or 3 business skills workshops each week.
Oh my gosh.
There's always some kind of skill share going on. So it kind of combined the professional development in it also. So
oh my God.
Really cool.
That is awesome. I have so many questions.
Yeah. I would highly recommend it to anybody. Paradise.
What was the accommodations like? Did you have to share a room? Did you get your own room? Did you have to like pay to upgrade? Like, how does that whole thing work? I'm just curious.
Yeah. So included there's a flat rate, and included in the rate, you get a shared accommodation at an apartment that's like near the co-working space.
Oh, cool.
And you can upgrade. So because I work at home and I wanted privacy, I upgraded to a private apartment. And they do Airbnbs. They just have, they find Airbnbs again within walking distance to the co-working space. And also that's cool because everyone's near each other. And so I had my own space. I didn't use the co-working space that much because it's hard that's the one thing about doing therapy is like you can't be in a co-working space.
I was just wondering. Yeah,
they have those telephone booths.
Okay.
People could hear me, like they could hear me. So that's why another reason why I wanted a private apartment. So, but if you don't want to spend the extra money, they will like partner you up with a roommate, and they even like will do a survey of, are you a late night person? Are you an early morning person? Because they will room you with somebody who has similar patterns. So it's very well thought out. Yeah.
And how long were you there? It seemed like you were there a while, right?
So the program is a month. It's 4 weeks.
It's a month. Okay.
It's a month.
Oh wow.
And they are always doing. There's usually like 1 or 2 a month in different, like, so currently there's a Buenos Aires one, there's a Colombia one.
Wow.
The one I'm doing Prague in May. So if anybody wants to come with me to Prague, I'm doing that. That would be really cool because
oh my God, don't tempt me.
Prague, it's May 15th to June like 12th or something like that.
Oh my God, that is so cool. So they just always have one going on?
Always.
Oh my God.
And there's 2 facilitators and they're very cool. They're young. Like I said, it's a very young crowd. There's always something social. And then on the weekends, what was nice was we would do weekend excursions. So if you've never been to Portugal, there's like beautiful places to go to on the weekends. And, it was all voluntary. You didn't have to go, but we would, I think we did a trip to the north of Portugal and there was 10 of us in an Airbnb. And I mean, it was just fun. It's like fun.
Oh my God, it sounds so fun.
And, I worked. So, and for the most part, like I saw almost all of I think there was one person who took a break the month off.
Wow. Yeah.
Didn't work with her schedule.
Right. Wow. So could we get into that a little bit, like how you worked your schedule? Because before we hit record on this, I was talking to Ruthie and I was actually freaking out yesterday because we traveled from South Florida to like, I guess, Western Panhandle, Florida. And as we did that, the time zones changed. And I don't know, time zones really throw me for a loop. It's only an hour difference, but like my whole schedule was off. I was messaging Ruthie yesterday, like, what time is your appointment? Because mine says 9, but I think it's at 10. So this thing really throws me off. And I imagine being like in Portugal or somebody that there's a huge time, somewhere there's a huge time difference, it would be like really difficult. So could you talk about that a little bit?
And I'm not going to lie, I'm still working the kinks out of that. So what I did was before the Portugal trip, which again was my biggest time zone issue that I've ever encountered, was I spent like the month before, I did like a master plan And I printed out, each week on a sheet of paper, like a regular blank calendar. And I let clients know. I didn't tell them where I was going, not because it's a secret, but because I don't know. I just didn't feel like sharing that information.
Sure.
But what I said to them was, look, for the month of September, my schedule is changing. I don't have as much availability. This is when I'm available. And I gave them a bunch of options. I said, option number one is we'll find a time for you to meet every week. Option number two was you can meet every other week for that month. Option number three was you can take a break for the month of September. And then option number four was I gave them I had like 2 other therapists that they could meet with while I was gone. So nice. I really had my bases covered. And
so great.
I would say 75% of them were flexible enough where they could find time to meet with me. So basically, because of the time, it was 5 hours ahead. Okay. I had between like 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. available, my time.
Easter. Oh, your time.
No,
okay.
That was Portugal time, which was 5 hours different. So it was like, I offered them from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So yeah, that was the time slot that I gave them because I know me and I'm not I shut down after 7 p.m.
Yeah.
And so I'm not a night person. And so I didn't want to see clients in the evening because I would feel bad for people having to pay me to see me in the evening. So I knew my best times of the day were earlier. And so that's how so what I did was I had this master schedule and I gave clients the option, and probably like a month ahead of time, I started scheduling them for the month of September. Nice. So let's say like starting in August, I started plugging people in. And like I said, most people were really flexible. I would say maybe like 7 or 8 clients just met with me every other week for that month, because let's say somebody normally met with me at 6 p.m. Well, I couldn't offer them that time slot. So they would meet me during their lunch break, but they couldn't do that consistently every week. So everyone was super flexible. No one had an issue with it whatsoever. And so when I left for Portugal, I had the next 4 weeks planned out on my master schedule. So do I want to do that every single time I travel? No, it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
So my goal, which I haven't gotten there yet, my goal is to schedule my regular daily schedule in a manner that won't require me to do that much moving around. So like,
oh, smart.
Yeah. So like maybe normally I would see, let's say on a Tuesday, I would only see people that first half of the day, but right now I'm spread out throughout the whole day.
Oh, so, I see, like blocking more than just kind of being like 9 hours of availability or something like that. I see.
Right. So that the next time, so like when I go to Prague, it's going to be the same issue, right? It's going to be like 5 or 6 hours ahead. I would love it if I didn't have to do all that work, ahead of time to get everyone on the schedule. So
smart.
To answer your question, I don't have it down to a science yet. It's probably the most difficult part of this is figuring out time zones, figuring out scheduling. I'm fortunate that I would say all of my clients are really flexible. Like they just, most of them don't have a set time every week anyway. So they were very cool about it. No one had an issue with it. No one left me. No one, got pissed at me. At least no one told me that. And so it worked out.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. So even when you had it all planned, were you still kind of like anxious about how it was going to work out, or did you just feel totally good? Because I always feel anxious about it. Like, like, am I doing this right? Like, I'm always kind of like, I've got to figure out how to like get over that part now that we're just like permanent, like digital nomads, like traveling all around, because that's,
no, I was nervous. I was nervous that I would screw up. There were a couple of times that clients messed up because like I said, that 6 p.m. client who she's had 6 p.m. with me. She's like my only one that has a set time every week. She's been 6 p.m. with me for years. And all of a sudden I moved her to 12. And so one day she forgot. And normally I would charge somebody, right? Because that's like our cancellation policy, but I didn't, because I figured, you know what, she's doing me a favor by being flexible. Like, I'm not going to penalize her because I asked her to switch. So,
Totally.
but yeah, there's a lot of anxiety. I was constantly worried that I was forgetting about somebody, or that I was like, you know, if I said to somebody 6 p.m., thinking at 6 p.m. my time, or are they thinking at 6 p.m.
Oh my gosh,
time?
right.
Yeah. So again, I think the biggest issue for this is the time zone. Is just like figuring out time zones. Are you forgetting anything? Is it 6 p.m. your time? Is it 6 p.m. my time? But you know,
yeah, I wonder if that gets easier. I guess it gets easier if you're like in one place and you just get used to it. But like moving all around, yeah.
Yeah, I think moving all around would be really tough.
Yeah, I think that's been my biggest anxiety so far. And Wi-Fi. Maybe we should talk about Wi-Fi too.
That's the second issue. You need different, you know how in some like hotels they have clocks from the different countries? Yeah. That's what you need on like your car dashboard. You need a clock for like New York Eastern time, Central time, Pacific time, you know. So you know everywhere you are.
That's so funny. And I just need to figure out how to plan better. Cause like, for example, we're leaving this place on Wednesday, but I also have like my office hours and my membership group on Wednesday. It's like once a month. It's the same Wednesday every month. So now I'm like, okay, we're going to have to, cause it's an 8-hour drive where we're going next. So we're going to have to stop somewhere, find Wi-Fi. I'm going to have to do a 2-hour office hours. And I don't know what he's going to do. He's just going to hang out in some strange town for 2 hours.
Yeah.
But I didn't plan well for that.
but that's like, you know, you just have to be flexible.
Have to wing it.
Happens. You know, I did a session in Portugal at the Airbnb in when we went away for the weekend, and it's like 5 p.m. my time, and the rest of the crew is in the living room, like starting to have Friday drinks, and I'm in the bedroom doing a session. So you just have to be flexible. Like, you know, right. Go with the flow.
Yeah, it's funny because I think of myself as laid back, but then stuff like this comes up, and it's like maybe I'm not as laid back as I think I am.
And you know what, it helps to have flexible clients. Like I feel
it
really
does
that everyone has been really flexible with me, and I'm always checking in with them to just make sure like I'm, you know, is it okay, or do you have an issue with this? And like I said, most people have been really cool with it.
Yeah, that's very cool. Yeah. And I think being telehealth providers, we tend to like screen out the ones that are high crisis or, you know, or like, you know, suicidality or anything like that. We tend to screen that out anyway. So our clients are a little more flexible. You know, they can go without us for a while. It's not like we're working at a crisis center.
And that was part of my process too. Like I actually talked to my own therapist about this, and she was the one that said, start with figuring out who are your highest risk clients who would have an issue with this. And fortunately, you know, I didn't have any really. I don't. For the same reason of what you said, just with telehealth. And that's kind of how I started to think about how I was going to do this.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So how was the Wi-Fi? I've heard you kind of chime in the group sometimes and share about your Wi-Fi experience. Yeah. I feel like you have started to really figure out a good system for it. So I wonder like, how was it for you in Portugal? Like, how'd you manage that and all of that good stuff?
So this is where it helps to have a plan B. Excuse me. When I reached out and I let them know, the people who found my accommodations, that I needed a certain Wi-Fi speed because of using Zoom. And they assured me, yes, it's like 100 megabits per second. That's it's going to be great. So I'm like, cool. But I read, and I'm a researcher. And so I read from a lot of forums, have your own hotspot just in case. And an external hotspot. So, you know, a lot of us use our phones for our hotspots, but because it's international, I didn't want to have to, you only get a certain, like my cell phone plan, I only get a certain amount of international data each day. And Zoom uses a lot of data. So I said, let me buy an external hotspot that has like, I can just re-up the data on. So I came with one. It got great reviews. It had like a built-in everything. It had an app where if you just needed to top off the data, you could. So I go and I have like weird Wi-Fi karma. It's kind of funny. Everywhere I go, wherever Airbnb I stay at, there's always Wi-Fi issues.
Oh no.
And so the first couple of days, it was perfect. Like I had no issues. And all of a sudden the Wi-Fi kept dropping.
Oh my God.
And I had like the Airbnb owner come, and she sent like the internet crew, and we could not get it to work consistently. So I'm panicking.
Yeah.
So I'm using the hotspot. The hotspot isn't great.
Oh no.
So this is what I've discovered, which is I think is what works best for me.
Okay.
I find the local cell phone place and I go there. And a lot of times, especially if it's like in a touristy place, they will sell you like a month hotspot. And or like you can pay per month. They have like a travel option. So in Europe, Vodafone is like a big cell phone company. And so I went to the Vodafone. I bought a hotspot. I think maybe I paid €40.
Oh, wow.
And it included a 30-day unlimited data package.
Oh, wow.
And it was perfect. I had no issues with it. What was nice about it, and this is where I think people don't always get great Wi-Fi on their own hotspot, is because the American cell phone towers don't always have the best equivalent internationally. So for example, I have Verizon.
Yeah.
Verizon has towers all over the world, but they're not always the best. They're not the local cell phone towers.
Right.
So if I use my Verizon hotspot internationally, I still might not get great cell service or get great Wi-Fi service. But if I buy a local hotspot, I'm getting their local cell towers. So for me, I'm always going to have a backup hotspot with me. It'll always come with me just in case.
Right.
But if I find that where I'm staying doesn't have good Wi-Fi, I will find the local cell phone store and I will go there and I will buy a hotspot and get their data package.
Nice. So when you're saying I'll always have a backup, do you mean your cell phone hotspot, then another Wi-Fi, and then you'll go get the local one too? Yeah,
I'll show you what I have.
Oh, okay.
Find it. Of course, now I can't find it. Oh, here it is. So, and again, I'm not like plugging in it. This was good. It wasn't.
It's fine. Yeah.
It's called Skyroam Solus F.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah. So
Skyroam. Okay.
Skyroam.
Cool.
Here, I don't know if you can see.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. So is that one like it's like a satellite, or is that off the towers too? Because there was one that was a satellite, but maybe it wasn't Skyroam.
I don't remember. This got great reviews, and what's nice is like, well, it has this fancy little carrying case.
Yes, that makes it nice. It's a pretty color orange.
Yeah, exactly. This one has an app.
Oh, okay.
What's nice was you can pay. I think I paid for 30-day unlimited data package. And then if you want to top it off, you can, and it'll connect to anywhere you are, like any of the. What's nice about this is like, so some of the hotspots, you need to get a local SIM card.
Okay.
This one you don't. This has a built-in SIM card. And so I wanted that. I didn't want to have to, any country I go to, I didn't want to have to get a local SIM card. This also, I don't use it. This has a built-in camera.
Oh.
I don't know why. I was
gonna say, what do you do with that?
No.
Maybe it's through the app or something. Like maybe you could do something.
Pictures. I don't know. I'm a sucker for like bells and whistles.
Gadgets.
So this goes with me. It's maybe £1.
That's awesome.
It's always my backup just in case. So
very cool.
I have my phone hotspot. I have the Wi-Fi wherever I'm staying. I have this.
Nice.
And if all of those fail, then I go get a local hotspot thing. So
that's foolproof.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Unless there's just no Wi-Fi anywhere. Unless you're and then in the middle of the desert somewhere.
Yeah, and then you're like shit out of luck. So,
yeah, then you just you're not going to see your clients.
Yeah, exactly. But that's so
cool.
So, like first thing I do is wherever I stay, again, I ask them, what's your Wi-Fi speed? I won't stay anywhere that doesn't have a good Wi-Fi speed. Like, I don't know, between 80 and 100 megabits per second is what I prefer.
Yeah. Like when you do for anybody listening, you can do like a speed test. You can go to like speedtest.com, and you can actually even ask the Airbnbs to send you a speed test, like a picture of it, and it'll actually show you like it goes up and down. So basically it shows like upload and download speed. And I don't know the numbers because I'm terrible with that stuff, but like you said, like 80, 100, like that's excellent if you're getting a Wi-Fi like that. If it's like 20 or below, you're probably going to have, or maybe it's 30 and below, you're probably going to have problems with.
And here's another tip for that. Like for those of you guys that use Simple Practices Telehealth, their telehealth uses like an exorbitant amount of data.
Oh.
And so for some people are always complaining with Simple Practices video is like it's always glitchy, and that's because they require a lot more data speed than Zoom.
Oh, I didn't know that.
If you're using, it's actually why I stopped using Simple Practices Telehealth video platform. It's because they required a lot more data. So I use Zoom now that Zoom will give you a BAA. I have Zoom, and it requires a lot less data speed.
Nice. Wow. Okay. Yeah. So do you still use Simple Practice, but just not their telehealth platform?
Yeah.
I see. Okay. So you just send your clients like the same Zoom link every time, or do you generate it? Okay.
No, you can do it. I use the same Zoom link every time. It goes out in my Simple Practice reminders.
Oh,
and then
smart.
I just have a waiting room. So like no one can enter unless I let them in. So that way, because I have some clients like that will hop on the Zoom room early.
Yeah, that happened to me once. I was like, oh my God. And then I figured out the waiting room feature. I was like, okay, we're going to do this now. Oh my gosh. Oh, that was the worst. I was like, oh my God, I think somebody else is in this room with us.
I know. I see their names pop up and I'm like, thank God I have it on waiting room, because otherwise I'd have somebody show up, to the session. So yeah, but so that's what I do. I use
so
Zoom.
Cool.
It's so much better. It doesn't require as much data. So when you're in a not so great Wi-Fi place, it's easier to do your sessions and Simple Practices.
Nice. Yeah. I just want to see.
So I know probably I'm not doing your, but I know one of the things that people are always asking about is telehealth laws in other countries.
Yes.
Okay. So, and the reason why I'm bringing this up is to kind of like disclaimer.
Yeah.
I may not be doing this the right way. And so
I like how you're doing it though. I know where you're going with this. So tell us.
Right. So, because I want to be really honest, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And this works for me. Okay. And so I want to be really clear about this works for me. I know it's not going to work for everybody. I may or may not be following the rules wherever I go. Okay. And again, people can shame me on that. It's fine.
Right.
So I follow the rule of my clients need to physically be in the state in which I'm licensed. So that's New York and Florida. Right. That's kind of where it ends for me. When I went to Portugal, I did not research the rules. Okay.
Yeah.
When I go to other states or other countries, I don't research the rules. And I know that this is a problem for a lot of people because as social workers and therapists, we want to follow the rules.
Right.
And I do for the most part. Okay. However, I just don't have the patience for it. And I'm not worried about it. And I'm going to knock on wood because I don't want to get busted, I had a therapist once tell me, she's like, Ruthie, the social work police are not going to come knocking.
Yes.
I was like, because we're so worried about doing everything.
I know. It's scary, all the things we have to think about. So because I wasn't even going to bring it up because I didn't know if you wanted to share that on the podcast, but yeah, when you posted that, you were like, no, actually, I didn't even check. I was like, I love that.
I'm sorry. I just don't have the patience for it.
Yeah.
Here's my philosophy, right? I'm not taking money away from the country or the state that I'm visiting, right? So like when I was in Portugal, I'm not doing therapy with Portuguese clients.
Right.
I'm not taking money away from them. I'm not like, I'm only there for a month. Right. Like I just can't be bothered. So again, I know that doesn't work for everybody. It's what works for me. Again, whoever's listening has to do with what they're comfortable
Right.
with, their level of comfort. I don't check.
Yeah. And we're not saying don't check. We're just
Right,
saying
exactly.
some people don't check.
Right. If it makes you feel better to check. I don't. And again, I hope it doesn't come back to bite me in the ass one day. But it is. Now, if I was going somewhere for 6 months, let's say,
right,
I would probably do it by the book. I would research, do I need a work visa? I would reach out to my malpractice insurance. Like, if I'm going somewhere for a week or a month, I just don't.
Yeah. And it seems like 6 months is like the magic number for most countries, right? Where visas start getting involved and all of that stuff.
Yeah. Well, actually, Europe, I think, or maybe this is for, I don't know. Europe has a rule, I think, of 90 days.
Oh, is it 90?
That
okay.
might just be for, what? I think that just might be for UK citizens. I don't remember. I remember hearing a 90-day rule of some sort.
Interesting. Yeah. And the other thing is, a lot of times people try to find out and they can't. And they get really frustrated and then they think, I can't travel and just screw it. I'm not going to do it. And they just don't follow this dream to go travel the world and work, But what we learned, I think we both learned it in Amber Lida's courses, just document that you tried,
Right.
Like, hey, I sent emails, keep track of it. If anybody ever asks, not that they probably ever would, but if they do, you can say, well, I tried and I couldn't get an answer and I had to go to Portugal. So what do you want me to do?
Right. And that's kind of another reason why I also don't tell a lot of my clients where I'm at. And
that
not
makes
to
sense.
be secretive, but it just, I don't want to make it mucky. And so I just, for all they know, I'm just in a different location in my home or something.
Right. Or family stuff or something, something has changed your schedule for that month. Right. Absolutely.
But I wouldn't let that deter people from doing this. Again, you have to do what's your comfort level. I know some people are really, really super, dot every I and cross every T, and there's nothing wrong with that. And for the most part, I am too. Like when it comes to confidentiality and HIPAA compliance and all that, I'm very much like that too. This is just one area where I've allowed myself to just be more relaxed about.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, because it's,
because otherwise, right. And that's the thing. I'd be chasing down something that says what the rule is. And I've yet to come across what the rule is. It's so murky, even I remember even trying to figure out, can I work in a different state? Trying to find that answer was so difficult. And it still is difficult.
It is. Absolutely. Yeah.
So, like I said.
Yeah, I was going to say, we put together, my friend Madeline and I, we were trying to put together a free guide. We literally emailed every single state in the country for LMFT, LCSW, LPCs to ask, can I practice in your state with this licensure if my clients are physically located in another state? And half of them didn't even answer. We had to keep emailing, and then some of them just gave these ridiculous answers. No, you can't see clients in the state. And it's that's not actually the question I asked. Then you have to email them back. Yeah. So it's not easy to get this information. But again, if we're trying, our clients are physically in our state, that's like you said, the one thing we need to take care of mostly is that part.
And you know what? Again, I spoke to my lawyer about this and my malpractice insurance and everything. So it's I'm careful. I don't normally take risks, but I felt comfortable enough to where I'm not paranoid about where I'm going. Again, the only rule I stick to is my clients need to physically be residing in either New York or Florida, and that's it. That's where
Love it. Love it. That's so much easier.
It is so much easier. So
yeah.
If you really want to do this, again, you don't need to let that stop you from being able to travel.
Absolutely. Yes. Please don't let it stop you. Go live your life. Have fun. Explore. Adventure.
Exactly. Yeah. And, and just to, I know you asked me earlier, how did I get involved in this? And it's I lost my mom a little over a year ago, and very unexpectedly. And, all she wanted for me was to enjoy my life and to live my life. And, the one voice I hear in my head every day is her saying, go live your life. And it's that's another reason why I do this, is because she was the most important thing to me in my whole world. And I know like she'd want me to work hard because that's what she taught me, but she'd also want me to enjoy my life. And so I really feel like that's another motivation for me to travel, is because she was a real avid traveler. And I just feel like this is her telling me to do this.
Oh, I love that. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's beautiful. Oh, I'm so happy you're getting to do this, and you're following your dreams, and you're just going and doing. It's just amazing, and I just can't wait to see all your journeys. Prague, that's going to be amazing.
Prague, there's Israel in April. Oh. Where else? I don't know. Like
wherever you want.
Like I said, if somebody invites me, I'll. Like my sister-in-law, the one that I did Portugal with, she's doing the Prague trip with me also. And she texted me saying, you know, we may go a little early and go to Venice for the weekend. Do you want to come? And I said, okay. Okay. You know, look, I don't have children, so it's a lot easier for me to do this. You know, I know for people who have families and stuff, this is harder. And I'm fortunate that, you know, I don't have that to worry about. So again, it makes it a lot easier. I know it's more difficult for people that have kids and that, you know, have stuff that keeps them at home. But like, even if you go for a week somewhere, you know, it doesn't have to be a month, go for a week somewhere and just. Or
even the summer, you know, go for the summer or something. The kids aren't in school. Right.
Exactly. Like, rent an Airbnb somewhere in Maine on the beach or something. Take your kids and like work during the day and then go have fun.
Yes.
Why not?
Oh my gosh, totally. Yeah.
It's like you get a whole new perspective. You know, my brother-in-law said to me, he's like, you are your best self when you're traveling. And he's right, because I'm just kind of out and I'm living life and I'm exploring and I'm meeting people and I'm seeing things. And it's just, how can you not be living your best life when you're doing that?
Exactly. That's how I feel. I just feel more alive, like exploring new places. It's just so exciting and fun for me. Yeah.
Because working remotely is very isolating, you know?
Yeah.
So there's just, you have to get out of your environment and just like see things. And also, you know, we have a tough job. It's like, this is also therapeutic for me. Very therapeutic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for sharing. Oh my gosh. Are you documenting your journey anywhere, like Instagram or anything like that, where people can watch your journeys, or are you keeping it more?
I'm not a public person. Like I never post my own life stuff on social media. I've just never been that type of person. And I was never really good at, like, I always forget to take pictures. One of my sisters, when I was in Portugal, one of my sisters texted me every day and she's like, send me a picture. And to the point where it's driving me crazy. But I'm glad, because it forced me to take pictures and send them to her. And so like I text friends and I have 3 sisters. And so I text them and, you know, like share funny stories and stuff, but I don't really put it publicly. Again, I don't really want my Instagram is mostly professional. And so I don't want people to know where I am.
Yeah, I get that. Totally. Yeah, I totally
get that. But again, some people are very public people and good for them. It's never been me.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Taking on this entrepreneurial type, you know, selling different income streams. And I've really had to learn how to do that, like be public. Like that's not my nature, really. I'm actually kind of shy, but you know, you kind of have to like market and sell your other stuff, your products or whatever. So yeah, I totally get that. Like just like, that's a constant struggle for me. Like, okay. What should I actually want to share here?
No, and I hated, I never liked posting professional, like marketing, like stuff on Instagram. It makes me kind of queasy. I just don't like it. Again, not knocking people who.
No, yeah.
It's never been me.
I get it.
I'm very
I totally get it. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. And I have one other question. Like, so when you were in Portugal, did you have a favorite place you went? Because I went to a couple places, but I want to go back. So I'm just curious, like, did you have a favorite?
I have 2 favorites.
Okay.
First of all, everyone should go to Portugal. It's stunning. It's magical. It's quaint. And people are so nice. And like everything about it was wonderful. I have 2 favorite places in Portugal. The first was in the north in Porto.
Oh, yes.
which is just like magical. Porto is wonderful. And then if you have time to go down to the Algarves, which is the
Oh, no,
beach
I didn't get
area,
to.
it's the southern part of Portugal. It's stunning,
Oh my
stunning,
gosh.
stunning. So
Yeah.
yeah, like we rented an Airbnb for the weekend, and how like you see in Greece and in
Yes.
Santorini where it's all white and the buildings are all white and it's this blue ocean. That was our view from our Airbnb.
Ah.
It was stunning. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. That is on my list.
Yeah, it's really. And then there's also there's a part in Portugal that is the westernmost part of Europe.
Uh-huh.
And it's like a tiny little piece that juts out, and it's kind of cool to know that you're in the westernmost part of Europe and you're looking straight ahead, and like New York is right on the other side.
Wow.
So,
yeah.
It's
that's so cool.
Yeah, but
nice.
yeah. So, and you're now permanently nomad?
Digital nomads. Yep. Completely. We don't even have a home anymore. We're at an Airbnb right now. Yeah. So we're just going to see what happens. The boyfriends, before we started recording, Ruthie and I were also talking about like COVID and how like being out of the country, it can be kind of scary if you do contract COVID, like having to quarantine in another country. So he's kind of along your lines with like, he just wants to stay domestic for a while until this thing clears up. But there's a huge list. So
yeah, that's awesome. That is awesome. Oh, I have another tip for people. This is okay. If you're going to do an Airbnb for an extended period of time, always ask the owners if they'll give you more of a discount. I would say 60% of the time they've said yes. I got a significant discount in Portugal because I asked them. So don't, what's the worst they can say is no.
Yeah.
If you're staying in an Airbnb for like a longer period of time, maybe, 10 days to a month or so, ask for a discount.
Nice. Such a good tip. Yeah. Because we did that a couple of times, but I wasn't sure if are you actually allowed to? I guess you are allowed to at Airbnb to like message them and ask for discounts. Like it's fine to do that. Okay. Because I kind of worried, like, am I going to get in trouble for this? But of course I haven't taken the time to research it either. So yeah, that is a good tip because I did get a discount at least one time. I think it was like $100, but it was still a discount. Yeah.
A lot of times they'll give, especially if it's kind of a last minute thing, because they'd rather get money than have it sit there empty. Right. So if I do things kind of at the last minute, I will say, hey, could you give me an extra 10% discount? And most of the time they'll say yes, because they'll take the money. They'd rather have something than nothing. So that's another really great tip. But I'm happy to help anybody kind of learn how to do this. Maybe this is like a new niche or something, Yeah. Totally. It's wonderful. Don't be scared. I know it can be a little scary and overwhelming, especially. So another thing that I'm a big solo traveler. I love to travel solo. And so that's, I know, sometimes scary, especially for women. I've had, again, knock on wood, wonderful experiences traveling solo. So, I'm happy to answer anybody's questions or give advice.
Thank you. Yeah. How would they get a hold of you if they wanted to talk to you about?
Well, you can find me on Facebook or Instagram, which is, my Instagram is Young Adult Therapist. That's my Instagram, or my website. I don't know if you're going to put it somewhere.
I'll put it in there. Yeah.
So it's ruthiekalai.com, or, and they can, on my website, you can just email me or find me or,
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. Anyway. Thank you. It's been great talking to you.
Thanks so much, Kim.
Thank you so much for listening to the Traveling Therapist podcast. For show notes, links, and downloads, head over to thetravelingtherapist.com, where you'll be able to learn more about my journey, the courses I've created for you, and other exciting resources to make your dreams become a reality. If you've enjoyed this episode, please share with your traveling therapist friends, subscribe to the podcast, and if you love this episode, please leave a review.